and I will show you a demonstration where we can exploit multiple authentication factors. We will show the mobile app in progress and how users can authenticate with the mobile app and step up among different resources with different protection levels and step up to an appropriate authentication level for that. So this is what we have. This is actually the demo application. It's actually a J2EE application. It's a banking server, a demo banking application. It's protected behind a couple of firewalls. So we're going to be coming in from a browser over the web. We're going to hit Web Access Management Proxy. This is actually the IBM solution, which is protecting this environment. And then the Web Access Management Proxy is going to decide whether or not I'm allowed to hit the demo app. And in this case, we have the proxy defined to defer all authentication to Trust Builder. So Trust Builder is sitting back here to perform all the authentication capabilities. And we're going to show using our ISAM adapter, which is actually the IBM Web Access Management Adapter. You can be talking to the policy server and to LDAP to know what's going on in the ISAM environment and to define and administer it as well. We have an LDAP adapter. We have a DigiPass adapter where we can talk to the Vasco, where we can validate Vasco hard tokens. And then lastly, we have the Trust Factor adapter, which is our out-of-band mobile solution application. And in this case, you see the Trust Factor adapter is actually talking back to the mobile device, the Trust Factor app running on the phone. And for folks who are truly looking for out-of-band, you can see if the user's here coming in from the browser accessing the application, when Trust Builder calls out to the phone and the user on the phone validates and authenticates, Trust Factor can actually come in through a different channel, a different proxy to reach Trust Builder. You could also configure it to come back through up here into the original one, but this is kind of showing where you can truly configure a total out-of-band authentication solution using your mobile device. So with that, I'm going to hop over and bring up the TBank application. TBank is just, again, a sample demo application for Trust Builder banking. Before I do that, I'm actually going to, let's see, this will be the demo application. I'm going to log into there, and then I want to show you what happens on the phone as well. So I'm going to turn on a Reflector app, and then go to my phone and turn on mirroring. So now you should see what's actually happening on my iPhone on the screen here as well. So on my iPhone, this is the Trust Factor app. If I actually launch the Trust Factor app, it is PIN protected as well. So anytime you get into the, clicking on there, I got to click on the phone, that helps. Anytime you launch the Trust Factor app, you're asked for a PIN on the phone side as well for a layer of security. So now you got the phone, what's happening on the right, and then on the left we have the browser. So I've called up the home banking application, and instead I'm stopped and presented with a place to identify who I am. So if I come in and I enter my user ID and hit go, it goes back to Trust Builder, who says, okay, I actually recognize you, but you can't get into the application yet, you need to authenticate. So let's say I just picked my lowest level authentication ID and password. If I enter my password, hit submit, Trust Builder goes, validates that against LDAP, and I'm in, and it actually lets me see the banking app now. So for demo purposes, we're actually showing up here, I'm logged in as Dan2, and I've got a level of 10, so that means I can get to anything protected at level 10 and below. And in this case, checking your balances or performing transactions is actually level 20 or higher, so I couldn't do those. But if I click down here on Manage Authentication Mechanisms, you can see I am allowed in to do that. And this is where we give you the capability to define kind of a self-enrollment. So users can come in and subscribe for DigiPass tokens or certificate enrollment or Trust Factor, which is the mobile application solution, or biometrics on their own. And we'll look at a demo of that in just a little bit. But up here, if I want to go in and check my balances, when I click on that, the Web Access Management solution along with Trust Builder is saying, well, that's level 20. You know, you're a known user, but we can't trust that you're really Dan2 at level 20 unless you prove it. So Trust Builder is presenting the user to say, well, you can come in and authenticate with a token or the Trust Factor device or an OTP off of Trust Factor. So if I click on token, this is actually the Vasco token. I don't have a Vasco token in my pocket, so I'm going to use Vasco's demo token that they provide on the web. Anybody can access this. Enter a PIN, have it generate a one-time password. I'm going to copy that out of there, and then click back over here and enter it onto my banking app. Hit submit. It's going to go back to Trust Builder. Trust Builder is going to drive our adapter, verify that that Vasco token is good, and the user's allowed in. Now I can see my account balances, and you can see up here I'm known as Dan2, but this time now I'm the level 20, so I can see everything and do everything that a user at level 20 can do. So that would actually let me come in here and perform transactions. If I click on here and say make a new transaction, let's say I want to do a credit of 90 euros. You can see I'm actually here at level 20, but when I submit it, in order to actually do it, it actually wants an additional factor. So this is going to show an example of transaction validation using the user's mobile device. So when I say submit, boom, the app actually stops here on the server side, says your transaction has been sent to TrustFactor. Please check your mobile device to sign or validate the transaction. And you can see over here in the window on the right, this is my phone. My phone is now lit up. And again, this is using the push technology, so you push information to the phone. You can see it can be branded. You can see somebody's trying to do a 90 euro transfer from this account to that account. And if I just click that accept button on the phone, it actually goes back through the Trust Builder and says, yep, good user, good OTP, password generated under the covers. The PIN must have been the same. We trust that that's good. You know, close it out. So that's showing transaction validation using the phone. If I can show one more example, let's do a couple. You can actually do a couple things here. Let's say I want to do a 90 euro credit. I'm going to add it to the basket. And let's say I want to do 1110, add it to the basket. So what I've done is I've kind of queued up multiple transactions, and I can click on the basket here and say validate them all at once. So when I click on that, again, it stops on the server side, says go check your phone. Over here on the phone on the right, I can scroll down. It's coming from my bank. Somebody's trying to transfer 90 euros. Oh, somebody's trying to transfer 11. You can see the one is in blue and the one is in red. This is just a simple example to show that you can implement policy however you want, send whatever data you want. We implemented a policy here that anything coming through over 1,000 euros is red. So again, if I click on that green accept button on my phone, boom, it comes back out of band and goes to the Trust Builder server, and the transaction continues. So that's transaction validation. I'm going to actually log out again and show you how the mobile device can be used as an authentication tool as well, not just transaction validation. So if I'm coming in here again, I logged off. I'm now coming in fresh as a user, Dan2. When I'm asked to initially authenticate, I can say I want to use TrustFactor to authenticate. So by clicking on that, I'm now at authentication time, right, not transaction validation time. This is coming out to my phone. From my bank, I'm seeing, oh, somebody's trying to log in, and you can actually pass in an IP address. You can pass in whatever data you want. Again, me as a user, I just hit that accept button, and I'm now logged in. You can see, boom, I came in. I'm now logged in as Dan2 at the level of 40. We have that TrustFactor setting set at 40. So real simple, real easy to use to allow your mobile device to become a second factor for strong authentication. So what I'm going to do now, so that's kind of showing the multiple mechanisms, showing step up among the different resources protected at different levels. What I'd like to do now is also show you how simple the enrollment can be. So what I'm first going to do is come here to TrustFactor and unsubscribe from it. Okay, so now it says I've successfully unsubscribed from TrustFactor. Then I'm going to come over to my phone, and this demo image has a little trash can there. I'm going to hit that with my finger and say that I really want to remove the token, or the profile. So now I've actually removed the profile. So it's as if I'm a new user coming into my enterprise, or I'm a user known to my enterprise, but I'm new to using this second factor. I went out to the store and I downloaded TrustFactor on my phone, but I don't have any registered tokens yet. All right. And if I log out here, so now you as a client, you would send instructions, go download the TrustFactor app, come into this URL. You're ultimately going to bring them into this self-registration page where they're going to enter their ID, and you're going to tell them that they need to enroll their phone. Right? So in the beginning, I'm known, again, with my ID and password, and this is stuff that you already have about users, so this is a way to help drive the self-enrollment page. Okay, now I know it's a user in my enterprise called Dan2. When he hits the Manage Authentication Mechanisms, we can trust that he really is Dan2. He's going to hit this Enroll button for TrustFactor, and at this point he's asked to pick a PIN code. So this is a way of protecting his copy of the TrustFactor app. So if I select a PIN here and say Submit, so far I've been known as a user to the Web Access Management solution, and I selected a PIN, and now it displays this QR code for me to scan. It says scan it with your device. If I go to my device, the Trust Builder actually provided this little register button there. If the user hits that register button, The phone actually lights up with a QR code scanner. You don't really need to know how to use one because I never knew how to use one before this. You just aim it at the screen, it reads it, and I'm prompted to enter a PIN now on the phone side. I enter the PIN, and I'm told, oh, now I'm now registered, so I've got a new profile registered on my phone. That's self-registration. Doesn't get much easier than that, right? We just fingerprinted the phone. We now know the device. We linked it to the user in the web access management system. They can come in and do authentications using their mobile device. So again, that's a real key. I wanted to point out how powerful Trust Builder can be in managing authentication mechanisms and even pushing back some of that self-enrollment on the end user. And if anybody wants to try this presentation on their own, you can actually go here to the URL tb.securit.biz, and you're going to load the exact same application that I was running. You can click on the upper right for a help button, which is going to give you a capability to get a PDF demo guide, and the demo guide can walk you through everything you need to do. You basically start here, you register as a new user with an email, confirmation is going to come out to you with your ID and password, and then you download the TrustFactor app from either the Apple iStore or from the Google Play Store, and you can come in and start to play with this application on your own. If anybody has any questions or concerns, you're welcome to call out to me as well. I'm happy to help you walk through this.